So welcome to the Advisory Board Insights. My name's Louise Broekman and I'm here with the lovely Jo Willoughby. Jo, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me today, Louise.
You're welcome. So Jo, would love to first of all start off, tell us a bit about your story.
My story is I'm a non-executive director, an advisory board chair and a skilled general manager. I have a track record of building business and developing growth, particularly through innovation and change. I've worked across industry from private, public and government-owned enterprises, and the diversity of my experience essentially adds value to the various roles that I'm involved in delivering on my mission, which is to ensure that organisations stay relevant and competitive, particularly in this time and this age of disruption.
Yeah, and Jo, you became a certified chair. Tell me about what that experience has been like in your roles in advisory boards.
I've actually absolutely loved it, Louise. As I mentioned, my mission is really to help organisations stay relevant and competitive, and I do that in a number of different delivery modes. The advisory board opportunity is one of those modes for me, and I work with a couple of growing organisations. They're established businesses, both in the professional services space, one here based in Australia and operating in the US, and the other one also domiciled here in Australia, but also operating, I guess, in a really interesting spot across tier one organisations right through to emerging businesses that are also scaling. For me, the opportunity to be a certified chair and I guess a CEO mentor it's an absolute privilege. It's something that I absolutely, I relish. I love the opportunity to work shoulder to shoulder with business owners, to work with them on really unpacking problems. So the distinction around advisory boards, as you are well aware, is around problem solving. So we get down and dirty on some real issues in the business, and for me it's a great opportunity to work with those organisations to help them achieve the growth aspirations that they have.
Fantastic. And with your experience in advisory boards, what would be your tips for business owners, I guess, to start with?
Yeah, sure. I think from a business owner perspective, I think business owners really need to be at that place from a mindset perspective that they're quite happy to open up the kimono of their business. For them to get the maximum value of an advisory board, they need to be prepared to show some vulnerabilities and be absolutely okay with that. And for me, the experience that I've had is that when business owners feel that they can trust you and they can open up, that's where the opportunity and the most value arises from my experience. And that's where the growth actually comes from, because if they're hiding some aspect of the business, or they might not necessarily have a particular skill, be strong in a particular skill set, and they're hiding some aspect from the advisory board, then we're only getting part of the story. When they can open up and share the whole box and dice, so to speak, that's where the opportunity really is, and that's where the growth starts.
And that genuine nature of that relationship is quite special, isn't it? When they leave,
it's precious, Louise. Is probably the best way that I can describe it. It really is quite precious, and as an advisory board chair, it's really such an honour, because you do get to step into the space of the business owner, and some of the complexities that they're dealing with, some of their own vulnerabilities or their sense of insecurity and so forth, and really share that with you. And so for me, it really is, it's sacred. It's really a sacred spot. It's one to be respected, to be honoured, and one that I absolutely relish and love, as I said earlier.
Yeah, fantastic. And Jo, what would be some tips for advisors? You've been in this space now for quite a while.
Yeah, I think my number one tip from an advisor perspective, is really around leave your judgment at the door. That goes hand in hand with trying to build trust and building rapport with the business owner. If you're coming in with judgment, then that's not going to work. You're there because you're trusted to be able to work with the business owner and help them take that business forward, or whatever their particular agenda is, whether it's a transition, whether it's a growth. So the judgments around what they should have done, could have done, that there's really no place for that. It's about meeting them where they're at and partnering with them on the journey.
It's interesting. A few weeks ago, I ran some focus groups with business owners to see what drives them crazy with external advisors, and the whole thing about you should do this, that just drives everybody crazy.
That you're not there to consult, you're not a consultant. You're there to work with them from meeting them with where the business is at.
Yeah, yeah. We've had a few little breakups there, but I think we're okay with what we've got there, Jo. That it must be the busy background you've got going on behind.
That's right.
It's real.
Which I seem to be blending in.
Yeah, it's a bit like an advisory board, isn't it? It's real, and
yeah, that's right. It's the chameleon.
Jo, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for your story, and keep up the great work that you're doing.
Thanks so much, Louise, for the opportunity to chat to you today. Thank you again.
Okay, we'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.